holy books respectively. Some of the problems associated with revelation as a source of knowledge include it is subjective, it may be dubious, it may conflict. Enough of epistemology. Axiology. Axiology is another main branch of philosophy. It's also called philosophy of value. Axiology is an amalgam of two Greek words, axio, which means value, and logos, which means discourse. Put together, axiology etymologically means value discourse. It does not deal with values generally, but only with those values that pertain to ethics and aesthetics. While ethics deals with value pertaining to human condition, aesthetics deals with values pertaining to works of art and natural objects. Aesthetics. Different philosophers conceive aesthetics differently. According to Will Durant, aesthetics is the study of ideal form or beauty. It is the philosophy of art. Any definition of works of art that limits its scope to works of art will not take us far, because among others, such definitions fail to take account of our aesthetic experience of nature and natural objects, of landscapes, sunsets, flowers, and faces, for example. This implies that things of nature are also objects of aesthetic interest. Aesthetics inquires into beauty and judgment of works of art and nature. It is concerned with the analysis of concepts such as beauty or beautiful as standards for judging works of art and natural objects. Michael Proudfoot makes a distinction between works of art and other objects of aesthetic interest. The crucial difference is that works of art are created. They are the intentional products of human beings. A work of art is a worked artful product in a medium with known qualities, limits, and constraints. In contrast with works of art, objects of nature are not created by human beings, nor are they the intentional products of human beings. They are independent of human craft and wisdom. Aesthetic judgment and evaluation also play an important role, primarily in respect to nature and natural objects in human society. Michael Scriven sees aesthetics to be the field of philosophy concerned with works of art and natural beauty and the status of judgment about them. According to Scriven, aesthetics includes the discussion of many interesting problems such as the analysis of the concepts of drama, metaphor, balance, realism, irony, aesthetic subject, aesthetic experience, and art. We may also add painting, sculpture, drawing, music, dance, poetry, pornography, and so on. Scriven adds that philosophy of art is also concerned with the analysis of the concepts and categories used by the critic, but with the justification of whether the critic's assessment of a work of art is good or bad, better or best. In this and that respect, this implies that aesthetics is also concerned with evaluative criticism. Problems of aesthetics. Some of the problems which aestheticians confront pertain to 1. Whether or not it is possible to evaluate works of art and objects of nature objectively, or whether such judgments are matters of taste. Whether anyone's opinion is better than those of others in judging the merits of works of art or natural objects. 3. Whether beauty or value of an object is intrinsic or extrinsic to the object. Ethics. Ethics is a branch of axiology which deals with how humans ought to behave. Like aesthetics, it is concerned with values, but ethical values are concerned with matters of good and bad, right and wrong, duty and obligation, virtue and vice, and so on. Hence, ethics may be defined as the study of the fundamental norms of human conduct. The concept ethics is derived from the Greek words ethos, which means custom. According to Socrates, ethics is the knowledge of good and evil, the knowledge of the wisdom of life. It is concerned with morality, the good life. This etymological understanding of ethics has changed in its meaning and scope in the course of time and usage. It has acquired more meaning. It now involves the analysis of the meaning of the concept and statement used in normative ethical discourse. The purpose of ethics is not just to study or teach, or know what right or wrong means, or what actions are right or wrong, good and bad, but also to influence our attitude. It can be gleaned from author Dobrin that ethics focuses partly upon learning how to make ethical judgments, Therefore, ethics offers the possibility of raising someone's moral IQ. It can help to improve one's moral IQ, much the same way that a law student learns to become a lawyer. The focus of ethics is morality. Ethics or moral philosophy presupposes freedom, and freedom involves choice and reasonability. People are free to choose the course of their action, and they are held responsible for the choice they make and the actions they carry out. Ethics can be classified into normative ethics, meta-ethics, and descriptive ethics. Normative ethics. Normative ethics studies how human ought to behave. It is normative because it is not concerned with how people actually behave, for that belongs to the social sciences, but how they ought to behave. It draws our attention to what ought to be done, what ought not to be done, and what will lead to good and evil. In this way, it teaches us what is good and evil. It then encourages us to do good and avoid doing evil. Normative ethics provides moral principles, which points to or x-ray good and bad actions. Our knowledge of normative ethics helps us to judge human actions as right or wrong, good or bad, just or unjust. While wrong, bad, or unjust actions are condemned, good, right, or just actions are commended. Our knowledge of normative ethics also helps to guide our decision when we are confronted with moral issues and problems. In this way, it helps us to resolve moral conflicts and moral dilemmas. From the proceeding, it is obvious that moral principles are universal. Among other moral principles possess a high degree of substantial generality. They must be applicable to a wide range of cases and circumstances. They must be relatively context-free. Moral principles do not allow for exceptions. With the help of moral principles, we are able to identify good or right actions. In this way, normative ethics is concerned with practical questions about what to do in concrete moral dilemmas. It attempts to provide and justify the theories of right and good conduct. These theories attempt to provide and prescribe contending courses of actions for moral living. These theories can be broadly classified into consequentialism or teleology and non-consequentialism or deontology. Consequentialism or consequentialist ethics are those moral theories which hold that the morality or otherwise of an action depends on the result it produces. For the consequentialist, the end justifies the means. These theories include utilitarianism, egoism, and altruism. Some of the consequentialist philosophers include Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. Non-consequentialist ethics. The crux of non-consequentialist ethics is that the morality or otherwise of an action does not depend on the result it produces, but on the action itself. Put differently, morality is inherent, or resides in the action itself. This means that actions are right or wrong in themselves. Non-consequentialist moral theories include the ethics of rational duty, divine command theory, res prima facie, and Rawls' maximum principle. Some of the non-consequentialist philosophers include Immanuel Kant, David Ross, Emil Brunner, and Robert Mortimer. These various normative ethical theories are fraught with criticism. It is important to state that none of them suffices as a solution to all moral problems and issues. We shall now examine meta-ethics. Meta-ethics is the study of the concepts and statements used in normative ethics. It is the analysis of the concepts or term and proposition used in ethical discourse to determine their meaning. Meta-ethics is relevant because it is important to know the exact meaning of the term used for evaluation in ethics. Such terms include good, bad, evil, right, wrong, duty, obligation, responsibility, and so on. It is also important to know exactly what we mean by moral statements and principles, which we use to evaluate human actions. Meta-ethics is subdivided into cognitive meta-ethics and non-cognitive meta-ethics. Cognitivism or cognitive meta-ethical theories hold that ethical propositions are meaningful and they can be true or false. Cognitivism comprises of ethical naturalism and anti-naturalism. Some of the cognitivist philosophers include David Hume, Thomas Hobbes, Ralph Barton Perry, George Edward Moore, H.A. Picard, and W.D. Ross. Non-cognitive meta-ethics. In opposition to cognitive meta-ethics, Non-cognitive meta-ethics hold that ethical statements do not express proposition. They are meaningless and so can neither be true or false. Non-cognitive ethics is subdivided into emotivism and prescriptivism. Some non-cognitivist philosophers are C.L. Stevenson, A.J. Ayer, and R.M. Harry. Descriptive ethics. Descriptive ethics is the third subdivision of ethics. It studies the actual moral beliefs or rules that guide conduct in a society. These moral beliefs are concerned about how people live and conduct their lives. In this way, descriptive ethics is concerned with statements of facts about the arbitrary moral belief of the people. It is the sociological and psychological description of normative ethical belief and language. Descriptive ethics is different from normative ethics in that it is not concerned with the method of validation of moral statements. It is different from meta-ethics in that it is not about the meaning and use of moral terms or utterances. It is not about the logical status of such utterances. Rather, it is about the sociological and psychological questions of facts about people's moral belief or attitude. It is concerned with the moral views that are actually held by various people or societies. For example, Community X's moral views or belief or opinions about incense between princes and princesses. Community X approves of incense amongst princes and princesses to retain royal blood in the throne. Community B approves of killing of twins and albinos to ward off calamity. Such statements or beliefs are not evaluating the moral action, nor are they explaining what the statements or terms used means. Rather, they are simply describing statements of fact about the people. Andrew Udoi-Gore would corroborate the above view. As he puts it, descriptive ethics is the branch of ethics that studies the moral codes of different societies or culture. He quotes T.A. Ojong as holding that these descriptive ethics examine moral views that are actually held by various people or societies. The main of the